And we are live.
Great. Today is the community engagement meeting for May 12th, 2023. Could I have a roll call, please?
Let's see. Bear with me.
Hello.
Go. There it is. Mr. Bosa,
Here.
Ms. Cheney,
Here.
Mr. Fisher,
Here.
Ms. Snyder.
Here.
Everyone's present.
Cool. If everyone's had a chance to look at the agenda, do I have a motion to adopt the agenda? Proposed changes?
So moved. Motion. Okay, second.
Second. No one's registered to speak to the committee today. We have minutes to approve from the last meeting on April 11th. If everyone's had a chance to look at those. Outside a motion for it to adopt the minutes.
You're making a motion?
I will. I am.
Oh, okay, I'll second it.
Is that all in favor?
Aye.
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 And I need you to sign that in blue.
Oh, okay.
Do you have blue?
No, I don't.
There you go.
Well, on the new business. And Mr. Hirth, when you get a chance, would you mind turning the TV on and you can give an example of the newsletter? It's like the first business's newsletter discussion. I did email everyone individually too, if you wanted to see a newsletter example in your own screen. Might be easier since there's a lot of text. But pretty much in the past, we've discussed maybe some gaps in communication. We've talked about Facebook kind of, it reaches a decent amount of people in our village, but it doesn't reach everyone. If you look at the numbers as far as members of the group, I think it's at like 600, something like that. I don't know how many households that really includes for our village. So we're definitely missing a component, like, how to reach everyone. Facebook is certainly a strategy. Yard signs are a strategy, the banners are a strategy, but I really want to feel comfortable that we're reaching everyone. And I think this is a way that we can do that. It would be a door-to-door newsletter. We already have, quite a few volunteers. I don't think distribution will be a problem. It would be like a quarterly newsletter probably, or as needed. So maybe in the summer, it might be every 2 months, something like that. So this first one, potentially with your feedback and depending on the timeline to get it printed, we could get it out, before the Juneteenth event, and that could kind of be a big header here. I think it could save the village some money, or maybe it wouldn't cost them any extra just because we're doing flyers anyways. Like last year we did C75. That was the extra cost. This is what, the C75 would kind of go into this and get the message out to people. You'll notice it's just a 2-page thing, just front and back. It's not really meant to have like all of the information be all encompassing. It's kind of meant to be more of a resource connector to let people know like pretty much where to go. If you'll notice on the second page at the bottom, it talks about visiting the Gulf Manor website for more resources, information. It talks about maybe going to the Facebook group if you want to connect with neighbors. And the intent really is to, let them know what's going on in the village. I think we've heard that from the strategic plan too, that you kind of have to be in the know to know what's going on. I think this would really help bridge that gap here. It would talk about events, get people more involved. On the second page, it's intended to be more like resources going on. So just for an example here, I'd possibly put the tree program, the mayor's tree program, how to sign up for that, maybe the Kia steering lock for Kia car owners. A resident spotlight could be fun. It's more positive things going on in the village, really to uplift the sense of community and just really get that sense of pride reinstilled in our community. And I think this is one way we can do that. And then the resource on the right side is kind of more for like the 513 bus or the carrying place, just different resources for people in need. You kind of talked about maybe people fixing up their houses, just as resources come available, we can kind of put them in there, do a short description of them and kind of guide them in the right direction. I thought the volunteers needed was kind of a nice area too. It seems like people would like to get involved, but I think they don't always know how, or they kind of have to know where to fit in. Me included, when I first started, I didn't really know how to get plugged in the village essentially. So I think this can kind of help with some of that.
What language is that?
It's just to fill in that's just to fill in the
Oh,
words.
okay.
Or like, yeah, it's not actually,
Okay.
yeah, it's a filler.
Or it has this thing that you hit something that fills in.
Yeah, I imagine that's what it is. I didn't do it, it was already like that.
Who wrote this up?
My wife and I have been working on this. And we've had a couple of contributors. The mayor I've asked him to do the community resource thing just because I think he has information and knowledge on that. And Melody wrote about Juneteenth, the event. So any thoughts or suggestions or things that we should include? This is an example of things that I thought should be included.
How are you going to print this?
Through the village's third-party source, or what do you call it, a vendor.
And how much is that?
We're gonna get a quote on that, so I mocked this up, and then I'm gonna send this to Ron, and Ron is gonna.
So I sent this to my guy this morning to see if we can get a quote on 1,800 copies. Did I say 18 or 15? I think I did 1,500
I was gonna say
copies.
15 is probably best. I think we imagine the ballpark is $600 each time, I think, or it's be similar to the C75 printing. Good morning.
Good morning.
Right, so we're
We
just-
have to ask finance, don't we? Because this is not in the budget, right?
Well, the first thing we need to do is find out what the cost is. Second thing we need to do is talk to the fiscal officer and see if it can be budgeted. If it's an expense that's over, then it needs to go to finance for approval.
Previously, over the years, when I did the newsletter and when Alan Severo did it, Minuteman Press printed it for us. And so I went ahead and got a quote what it would cost now because it's been years. 2,000 copies on just 2 pages like that, front and back, or $1,533 with them, if you do it in color. You can do it in black and white. Well, different types of paper too. If you do it on a saddle stitch newsletter, I don't know what that is. That's 11 by 17.
Sounds very large.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it is. It's black and white. And it's only $798.
for how many pages?
That is a big folder, 4 pages, like 1 page folded over this.
Kind of like a newspaper
Yeah.
thing.
Right, that's how, especially when you take the one like this, it ends up being a full-size piece of paper, but it's just one fold.
Two-sided. So you could have 4 pages there.
Two-sided flyer, how much is that?
Two-sided flyer,
Just
2
one piece of
sides.
paper, like the
Oh, I'm
shiny
sorry.
paper.
Wait a minute, 2 sides. That's color printing. You want black and white? Color, if you do it on a trifold, on white paper, color printing, 8.5 by 11, it's $1367.65. If you, that's color again. That's all he has is black and white. Everything else is color.
So the last two versions of this that we've done, this was in, yeah, it didn't count. Let's see, newsletters go through here. So this is the one that Stefan did on his printer at home. So it was a 1-pager, 8.5 by 11, black and white. Prior to that, excuse me, spring of 2014, we did an 8.5 by 11 folded with 4 panels. So this format, I think, is consistent. I'd like to see it be more branded to the village, to be consistent with our branding. Well, I think the idea is great. The issue is, how do we afford it?
And another issue too that we found when people deliver things is litter, because people don't pick them up and then they fly away. But that was a long time ago. Mailing it here is $400.
Let's see where this go. I think it's a good mock-up. The biggest thing is the cost, so we just need to get numbers.
Mhm. I don't think we need to be super concerned about the cost, and we don't know what the specific things are, but as far as printing, I mean, I've offered to use my own printer. That was a discussion. I mean, that's not gonna cost me very much. It would not be colored.
2,000 copies, 1,800 copies, right?
So you would be donating the paper and the supplies?
Well, that was the discussion. Paper is my main cost, so if it was, maybe paper was donated to me, then, I could donate, the printing.
Could Golf Manor give him money for his, the ink and the paper, because it'll be much cheaper?
We don't do that.
I mean, but if you're gonna try to figure out the money, you don't do it, but could you consider giving him the money for the ink, 'cause it's gonna be cheaper than getting it printed from any of these sources?
I understand the sentiment of that. However, it becomes an audit issue when you are reimbursing people from a village government to individual people. So we have to figure out how to work within vendors to be able to do this correctly.
I know when I printed the last one with Stefan or Mr. Densmore, I went through a lot of ink.
Yeah.
Way
It's a
more,
lot
or
of ink.
toner, way more than I
Mhm.
thought I would.
Yeah.
Right, I have a printer, I can help, and I can also donate paper, so.
It's good to know.
Paper.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think the cost is gonna be $1,533, or, I'm thinking somewhere in the ballpark of $400 to $600. But Mr. Hoth would be more helpful than that, from the 675 flyer.
I think it's great to want to pull people together and do this. Let's see what the number is first to do it professionally. Because I think it's also important that you can have a debate whether or not it be color or black and white. Color is more professional. It looks like we know what we're doing. I think it's better to try and do it that way. We just need to see what the cost is.
My concern is just consistency. I just want to make sure that we get it right the first time, so that it's something that we can continue into the future. Because I hate to throw, we threw out one newsletter last year, and then everyone's like, "But now where's my regular newsletter?"
Mhm.
So I just want to make sure
Right.
it's something that's sustainable. And with our app coming out soon as another communication tool, I am just wondering if both are needed at the same time. Obviously, we need to work on communication, and it's very important, but I'm not sure if we should be rolling out both initiatives at the same time.
I don't know if the app's gonna be ready by Juneteenth, so
That
that's the
was
only concern.
one
So
thing I was
the
wondering
app will-
too.
But aren't we gonna do banners for them and hang them around the village?
We can.
That is cheaper, right?
Well, not necessarily.
No? Okay.
Depends on when we hit the vendor at what time.
Cheaper than
So
what?
I sent mock-ups of what the banners would look like to the committee and haven't heard anything back yet. They were debating it. So,
Okay. Okay.
what was I thinking?
To Ashley's point, regarding the app, so for us to get the app out to people, is gonna need something like this.
Yeah.
But then eventually this could be put onto the app, once enough people, we have 1,500 people on the app. We just, every month, put up the newsletter, we don't have to deliver it anymore, so our cost would drop at that point. But to get people to know for the app, and to download the app and all that, we're gonna have to run a few series of advertisements for the app. And that will be a good way to get that information out.
Yeah.
So I do think that for the long run, we have a plan. The app could take over this whole idea of even having volunteers drop it off in people's mailboxes, as long as we have enough people with the app. And
Can't
it's-
put it in mailboxes,
I mean, you have to roll it or whatever,
yeah.
stick it.
I think this can be really doable on the idea of the app. That won't be ready until the September 10th concert.
Okay, so
They
it'll be
can't
that
have it,
long?
they can't have it,
Okay.
because I was asking them if we could target for the 4th of July.
Yeah,
And it's 6 to 8 weeks out once everything is done, and we just restarted that project. So they're sure that they can deliver, and we can be in a training mode by September 10th.
Okay, so then we can have people download it then, have a booth for that.
Yeah, I think that was what we had intended to do last year. I think that's a good way to do it.
Yeah. And also, we'll need to do July 4th then on that, on a newsletter, on this.
It has a little on for July 4th, it's not filled in. It's still-
Yeah, it's in the event page, community events. As far as, yeah, we could start as a physical copy, try to get people converted. I'm not comfortable with just saying like, yeah, the app's out, so now we don't have to do physical anymore. I mean, we need some hard numbers, like what would be the threshold? It's gonna be a discussion in the future, but we need to see like the numbers of downloads and people actively using it and connecting with it on a daily basis. Because the whole intent is to reach everyone. So if the app, kind of my assumption about the app is maybe 30-40% of residents are going to use it. But I don't have any numbers to back that up. But I just don't see a majority of our residents using the app. But I hope that they do. That would be a lot easier for us to get the information out to them.
Why don't you think they'll use the app? People use apps on their phone all the time.
Yeah, I agree with Brian. I think you're not gonna have a whole bunch of people, especially senior citizens, if you're trying to engage the whole community. Everybody does not use technology. They don't use it on their phone, they don't, some people don't even have computers. So I think you have to have another way to reach people.
Yeah, it's just one way to reach people. I mean, I think it's going to be the similar demographic of the Facebook group. I don't know that the app is going to reach new people. Like, I think it's not this like magical group that doesn't use it and will use the app or would be excited about the app. And the fact is that the app is a government app, or like, it's just not that exciting. Like, I don't know if people are going to seek it out.
How do we make it exciting?
Right, that's been the question.
So I think you can't assume that anything related to the government is evil.
No, I didn't say evil, but it's just not exciting.
Well,
I think the ability to request services will make the app, through the app, make it more enticing to have on your device for, so while it's not exciting, and it may at least be
And I have
useful.
And I have talked to some seniors, and they're excited about it, just so you know. I know not all of them use technology.
Yeah, I think people, if they're used to using technology and the phone, they're gonna continue to use it. The people that don't are not going to do it. So you have to have a different way to reach different people, to be inclusive for all people in the village.
Well, it sounds like we have a good start with the newsletter, and that we're waiting on costs and be ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like cost is primary concern. I didn't know, I haven't heard any other feedback of what would like to be seen. I mean, I guess some of the branding, maybe put a GM in the top right corner. I guess what would make the branding more consistent with the village? What would be Just a bunch of GM logos?
I'd be happy to work with you on that.
Any other feedback of different events? I mean, I know you just mentioned 4th of July. I have that there. Is there any more events in July or that I have missed?
So on the website, under our village upcoming events, this week we've got recycling. So this is the kind of stuff that would be good to have in there.
Mhm.
Recycling old tires, planting day, the mayor's tree program, the art sale coming up, the Grand Prix.
It would all be in there, yeah, if it was
Juneteenth
gonna be
and
delivered before.
Parade and Picnic, and then Celebration 76.
It's always been the problem in the past, getting the newsletter together and getting it out in time.
So that's the thing that Ms. Snyder and I have talked about, is there needs to be a production schedule. Because the way the last two newsletters were done, it was like, oh my gosh, we have to put this out. And then it was this rush, and then half of them didn't get distributed until after some of the events. So if we know ahead of time that we have a drop dead date on when it has to be at the printer, when it has to be in people's hands for distribution, we can work backwards. And we know that there's a specific date that all the articles and stuff need to be completed.
Yeah, I mean, I intend to, once this is done, this newsletter, just start working on the next one or start thinking of ideas. I'll have an idea sheet, different ideas of articles and different people to spotlight. And then reach out to those people, give them a timeline, of a few weeks. And then the printer and distribution probably needs a timeline of 3 weeks as well. So pretty much, the way it would work, the system is to start working on the next one right away when the first one comes out. That's kind of how I operate. I'm kind of, organized in that way.
Any important ordinances that affect people in the community need to be in there too. Not the whole ordinance, but just a small paragraph.
You're not gonna have enough room for all that in this.
Yeah, that was the thing too.
I don't mean this one.
I think a reminder of brush pickup would be good.
Yeah, people are always asking stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like, is that even going on right now? I don't know. The extra,
Yeah, it's
like
the
the Monday
second.
one.
Oh, no, the
Monday
second,
ones?
and the second and fourth Thursdays, right?
Second and fourth Thursday, correct?
Yeah, and I could be in resident program area.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like resident program. What's the ordinances you're referring to, Sharon? Or like a new ordinance, or just like maybe I noticed in the old newsletter there was commonly broken ordinances, pretty much like littering.
Especially new ones that people have to follow new rules.
So like the dumpster ordinance.
Yeah, right, that's a new one.
Chickens.
Chickens, yeah. So people are aware. And then a link to where they can get more information.
Mhm.
The fencing.
Permit rules.
Yeah,
But I think, and if you're doing something that's this size, you need to pick one per issue,
Mm-hmm.
and then
I think that's all we did. in
Or-
the past.
actually, what I like, what Mr. Bussa said before was, if you're using this as a teaser to get people to drive them to the website to get details,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to have an entire discussion about whatever that ordinance is.
Right, just a brief little paragraph with the
Could be
link.
like, hey, there are new procedures for permitting a dumpster, go here for the details.
Right.
Do you all think that the way it is, does that contribute to well-being in our community? Do you think it contributes to connection? Do you think it's gonna help residents find resources that they need the way it is designed currently?
I think it's a good start.
Yeah, that's what I.
We're gonna have
No, it's
to,
changing.
let's see what the QR code does. We're gonna have to evaluate and make changes as we need to. Doesn't scan.
Is that a real QR code?
Yeah, they're all real right now. Or yeah, there's just one on there right now. Yeah, it's for Juneteenth. It takes you to the vendor registration page. It does work. We tested it.
Oh, another thing too. In the past, when we did the bigger newsletters, we got businesses to put ads in the paper. We only charged them $50 each, which helped cover the cost. And I picked up Marinemont's, it's full of ads. There's it's hardly anything in there except ads. A few things, it's really thick too.
Yeah, I had considered like a business spotlight. I did choose, like the space is limited. I did choose a resident spotlight over a business one, but that could certainly be an idea.
You can
Once in
also
a while.
spotlight our employees.
Mhm.
I've done that in the past when I did it. And people in the neighborhood, like you're doing there. I know, right? I bet they charge a lot for their ads, though.
All right, I don't know if we have any more discussion on that. It seems like we're waiting for a quote. We should probably receive that in a few days from the vendor from the village. Everyone's okay with moving on?
I think so.
The next order of new business is a Juneteenth event. I don't know if anyone's here to discuss that.
Seems like things are moving forward, but I haven't heard specific updates.
I know they need more vendors, that's always an option, and they can accommodate vendors up to the day of the event. So you don't feel like you have to have a ton of time. If you would like, so I thought that was kind of cool hearing about
Yeah.
that.
I know Pleasant Ridge Montessori shared their list of vendors from their market with Melody.
That's great. There's a lot of people at that market.
Mhm.
Vendors. I was
Yeah,
impressed.
David Church sent it to her immediately as soon as she asked for it.
In the
But I already talked to him, clarified that it would be okay.
It's in the cafeteria and the gym. They've been expanding
I know,
every year.
right, it was
Bigger.
huge.
And outside. I mean, there was
It was
some
nice.
vendors outside too.
Uh-huh.
That's cool. Really exciting. The 4th of July parade. Who's Mr. Hurd? Do you have any details on
Nothing
that?
new on that at the moment. The police captain is working on pulling vendors together for the parade itself. And I guess we need to figure out what's going to happen with the picnic piece of it. I wanted to have a discussion with Mr. Fisher on, on what the involvement in that would be of the group last year, if any involvement. But that's something we probably need to start working on pretty quickly.
I would like to discuss finding ways to encourage residents to participate in the 4th of July parade as well. I know in the past there were more children like riding bicycles or, people with their own cars decorated.
I didn't know that was an option.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, I think that maybe a lot of people don't know that that's an
Put it in
option.
the newsletter.
Yep, so we can
Uh-huh.
put that in the newsletter.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, we used to have a lot of residents participate.
I'm
So-
trying to get some of my neighbors to build a float with me, but I'm not sure.
Well, and the candidates for the council and the mayor position should also be invited to participate in the parade.
Yeah, I actually didn't even know about the parade. I mean, I realized we did something for 4th of July, but I didn't even really hear about it until maybe a week before last year for 4th of
Last year.
July. So yeah, I was not able to participate.
We kind of let our businesses know too. Businesses used to participate. The circus, did they participate last year? I wasn't here, out of town.
I don't
Remember?
recall seeing any circus people in it.
We'll make sure we ask them.
Yeah. Although I'm sure they're
Will
busy
Spence
with
might
lots of
want to be
other.
in it. Some of those others up there.
Are we going to have the mascots again? What's the Xavier mascot? The blue.
Blue Blob,
Blob.
I think the must-
Captain Reed's working on that.
Okay.
NFC Cincinnati.
We had that one.
Gary,
Yeah.
Gary?
yeah.
We just need Joe Burrows. And
Easy.
Chase, that would be good.
Easy ask. I know that the circus participated by donating like the blow ups in the park
Oh,
during the
okay.
parade.
Okay, but they didn't walk in it with their stilts like they do in
I
the.
feel like they might
Reds
have
Parade.
joined like at the end, like maybe
Okay.
on the weehee portion. I think they
Because it's
hopped
too far to
in.
go
They
and
were
it's on
having
hills.
staffing issues for their business stuff last year, so I don't believe they
Oh.
participated. They were having an issue covering their
They
paid
just
stuff.
put like 3 blocks and they disappeared.
Yeah.
They're just
They
Don't
took it
pop
by
it.
3 blocks and they plugged it into their place and they just said we were able
They
to.
set them up and win.
if they have that water one again, I'm gonna get in it because it was so hot last year.
Is that the one where they slide through it?
Yeah,
Mhm.
or it was like a bounce house with water, but then it did have.
You could slide through it,
Mhm.
yeah.
So how was the turnout for that? I didn't go there, but was it similar to like C-75? The crowd?
No, it was smaller, but it was good.
It was nice. C-75 was, the full park was taken up. This was just the picnic area and a bit more.
I think you guys sold it, or you distributed all the hot dogs,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, yeah, one.
Do you remember how many hot dogs there were for that event? I know, like,
About 200, didn't
I think 250.
it? Mm.
Right, 250.
I think that's what we did the year before when I was here, I think.
Yeah.
When Sandy and I cooked them with the Jewish guy sitting there next to us. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
On your grill. Yeah, it was so hot. That was terrible.
so this committee did not, I don't recall it organizing anything for 4th of July parade. I mean, that's just exclusively, the police just take care of that? Or-
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
The picnic is the big issue that we need to figure out.
And that is budgeted for through the grant we received, right?
We haven't received a grant yet.
Okay,
Mhm.
that we're anticipating
Mhm.
We
Right.
hope.
receipt of.
You heard
Um,
anything back on that?
So the person who was coordinating it apparently left the county 2 weeks ago, and they didn't tell anybody.
Oh,
So when I reached out again this week to say, hey, what's the status of this? They were like, sorry, he's no longer here. We'll get back to you.
Mm.
So we're waiting.
Because Juneteenth is also tied to that.
Juneteenth is tied to it also, yeah. So we'll see. It's probably just a matter of administrative procedure to get it done. It's probably not an issue, but I would feel better knowing specifically what's going on.
Everyone's okay with that? The next order of business would be Community Happens Here. It's an organization that really tries to get people to connect with each other. The founder, it's in Pleasant Ridge, if you don't know already, on Montgomery Road, pretty much across from the library. The founder's hope pretty much is just to get people across like socioeconomic groups, just to talk to each other, people that normally wouldn't, and then you can find commonplace with people. They really would love to connect with our community, and she was willing to put up some signs. She would pay for the signs herself through the organization. Put up some banners. I don't know if she would be able to use our banner, the ones we already have, the existing ones, while we're not using them. But if she's not able to, then she can put up her own post. She was willing to pay for that in the gateway areas. But pretty much these banners are, she would like them to advertise every week. It's being where people can just gather. Typically they serve event going on too. Like there was some art while you're there and while you're co-mingling with different people, and inside there's coffee inside. There was a pig the other day. You might know the principal's pig for PRM, the old principal. She has a pig, I guess, from before.
Melissa?
I think that's right. That sounds right. Yeah.
What's her name? Okay.
She has a pig, and so she brought it there so that kids can pet it, and it's just a really fun place. I would invite you all to go there. It's just every Saturday, and she like I said, she's looking to get more involved in our community and become more of a staple here, and get people to kind of go over there. And she can come here for events as well. So possibly the 4th of July. I know she's definitely in connection with the Juneteenth event. And I'll plug her in with the concert and things like that. So I think she's a good resource. She could help out just to at least build some community.
And who is this?
Ruth Ann Wolf.
Wolf is WOLFE. She was very big in PRM.
Yeah, she was really instrumental in making
I've talked to her
PRM
before,
what
yeah.
it is today. Yeah, and really, it was huge in making, I think, the parent involvement. I think that's what really separates PRM from other public schools or CPS schools in particular. Is that the parent involvement is just phenomenal. If you go there at pickup or drop off, I mean, you can just witness it. I think she was pretty important to that, and she's still very involved at the school as well. She does the coffee cup. She trains.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, she kind of gives kids
Anybody can go. It's Thursday morning at 7 to 8
real early
or
before
8 to
school.
9, something like that.
No, probably 7
8:30.
before school starts. Yeah. Are there any upcoming? That's the next order of business. Just Juneteenth and 4th of July is what I'm. Or, I guess we could talk about about the planting and.
Planting Day this Friday. And
We'll do an alternate rain day.
So what's Derby?
You plan in the rain, or is there an alternate date?
that's up to the administration. Are we planting rain or shine? I haven't checked the
Yeah.
weather.
It's raining on Friday.
No.
I don't know, the weatherman's not always right, but it said rain on Friday.
Yeah, if we don't get it done, the maintenance crew will be out playing.
Oh, great.
And this is also yard sale weekend. And we have the Grand Prix
Mm-hmm.
on Sunday.
With Mark's Bagels.
With Mark's Bagels. And those are all the events I'm aware of.
Yeah, but rain is on Friday is late.
Oh, good.
As of now,
As of now, yeah.
7 p.m. is 50% of 6 p.m. Before that is only 23%. So
What's it supposed to do Sunday?
thunderstorm. Oh no.
It's gonna be nice on Sunday.
Still rain.
On Saturday it's supposed to rain, but on Sunday it's supposed to clear up.
Do you know about the soapbox derby? Okay.
Do you have a question, you said?
I do,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Is Golf Manor participating in the Cincinnati Pride event?
Yes. It's Golf Manor.
Golf Manor is not, there's a group of residents who are.
Yes, right. It's the same thing.
Is that posted anywhere?
Yeah.
Is that posted anywhere?
It's a group of residents.
Mhm.
So no,
If someone wanted to join that group of residents, how would they get connected with them?
Is it Melody? No?
no, we should probably talk about it outside this committee.
Okay. Okay.
Does that answer your question?
We'll catch you after the meeting.
Going on to old business, is there any update on the Village app?
Think I already gave that. It's been restarted. We're getting on the production schedule, and it's been on hold for about a year now. So we just have to get back into their framework.
So that's all been approved through council, I guess the last meeting, so that was all,
We got the
Yeah.
okay to go.
answers are good, and I guess we're pledging the next $10,000, is that what it is, the other half? That's
That was right past. Yeah.
I can move on to the Parks Committee update then. I would say probably half the meeting, we ended up kind of just discussing different ideas, like how to get more events going on, get more people connected. It seemed to be a topic of conversation. We just kind of talked about things that had worked in the past, maybe some ideas that could work in the future. A few things, I mean, it seemed like the Luminary event was, people really enjoyed. They really missed out on that, not having it this last year. There was an idea of like adopt a senior campaign, pretty much like pick 3 neighbors and pretty much share information with them or kind of keep them plugged in because, you know, sometimes people living on their own or seniors can feel a little alienated. So that could be an interesting idea. There was even an idea of like a GM history, like make a book pretty much. I don't know if that's been done before.
25th was at,
25th
last
anniversary.
time.
Okay, so it's been 50 years. So that was an interesting idea. And then it was mentioned like a list of GM businesses to kind of have like a directory just so we could be supporting our businesses and our local residents and things like that. So it kind of just became, it was kind of like a community engagement meeting, like half of it, I would say. The other half, we did talk about, you know, some different ideas in the park. We were not able to discuss how to connect with the broader community, but that is our agenda at the next meeting, which is this Thursday. We will be discussing how we want to and get more, hear more feedback from the community as a whole. And if anyone wanted to attend, it's this Thursday. It's at 6 p.m. in this room. The next one would be a beautification committee. Do you have any?
I think we put that on hold, didn't we?
Okay. Would hold as, I mean, do you want to take it off the agenda or just, we're not gonna discuss it until any new updates?
Take it off for now, I
Just
guess.
take it off? Do you want to
Yeah.
set a motion and take that off? I'll second that.
Somebody said, take it off.
It's your motion, right?
Well, I don't know if it needs a motion, but you can put through a motion.
Yeah, just take it off.
Okay.
We did last time.
Same with the community survey, that's been there for a while.
The motion was to table it, so you just take it off, it's just not on the.
Cool. We're gonna get rid of community survey as well? and communication?
Yeah, that was the housing survey a long time ago.
Okay. And as far as old business, looks like we already talked about the We Thrive planting and cleanup.
Mhm.
About that. We can move on to economic development. Mr. Hirth, do you have a report?
I have no report.
All right, education, Ms. Cheney?
Okay, the last LSDMC meeting at PRM was held on May 10. We have 2 parents that met their term limits. So Jason Chambly and Barbara Whalen have to be replaced. The PTO elected Annie Coates and Laura Weber to replace them for next season. And there's a CPS budget meeting on May 15th online that I need to attend. The principal, and that's all I have right now. And school's out May 26th.
Who elected those 2 people? Or can you explain that process to me?
Who are they?
I guess, how did they get elected, the LSDMC?
PTO. They
PTO elected
They
them?
nominate, if a parent wants to be part of LSDMC, they need to let PTO know. PTO votes on, there were 3 people running. And the other person running was Jason Chambly's wife. And Annie Coates, I know, she's been attending our meetings and she's been going to the ad hoc meetings with us. She's going to be very involved, I think. Laura Weber, I don't know her yet, other than meeting her on my text message. And I guess that's it. So if you're interested, you need to let the PTO president, I think that's Antoinette Mole.
Mhm.
more, right? She lives here in Gulf Manor.
I think it's Eva Borough now,
Oh, okay,
with the new school year, right?
Okay.
I mean, I think it would be Antoinette at this moment.
okay,
Moving forward,
okay,
I believe it would be Eva.
okay.
Thank you for that. Is there a nonprofit report, Mr. Fisher?
Negative.
All right, is there anything else you want to discuss before we concluded our meeting? I guess I'll announce that Phyllis Thomas is here. I was under the understanding that she was going to be appointed today by the mayor, but she will be joining us in community engagement in that role as a resident. So it would be the next meeting, I suppose. So that's why she was here and sitting at the table there, and why I was allowing her to speak.
Thank you.
Congratulations in anticipation.
I suppose it's not official, but
Yeah, so just a quick question, is there a place I can find the goal of, the community, this group? Like, is there anything written about it so you kind of know not so much the format, I see that here, but like what is exactly this committee, is there something written so I can get it and read it and kind of?
When the mayor formed this group, there was a sentence maybe written, but there might not be, but it would be the mayor's,
I don't think he's updated it.
there is something on the website that you can read. It's maybe 2 sentences.
Yeah, this is all the purpose.
Here,
It's the website page, you'll find it on the community engagement. Yeah, he has all the missions written there.
okay, I'll look at it.
Council committees, it says under there.
It's on the council committee.
Yeah. In the drop down government, council committees, and you'll see it over there, it says
Thank you.
the purposes.
That concludes our meeting. The next Community Engagement Committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, June 13th, 2023 at 9:30 a.m. in this room. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Well, thank you, have a great day.
Thank
And we-
you.